of their fellows. They founded the refuge in response to new waves of refugees coming to Appalachia, people in great need of help. Food, medical care, clothing, a place to sleep. All of these are available for those who need them.
Only got attacked by scorched once.
Anyone in need of help, yes. You appear more well-off than our usual guests, though, if I may say so. Less bedraggled than those poor souls. Armed. The refuge exists primarily to serve those who cannot help themselves. The starving, the sick, the homeless. There is a clinic, a kitchen, beds, recreational facilities, all manner of care to be found here. I'm so pleased to be able to assist in my own small way, of course. Of course, dear. The owners of the White Spring itself. The resort, hotel, golf course, all of it. Very much still alive, I assure you, though regrettably unable to oversee affairs in current circumstances. As such, now that we have new guests, they have sent me in their stead to take care of things as needed. I couldn't be more pleased to do so. A delicious opportunity to be of help and meet fascinating people such as yourself.
Can't wait till dinner.
Darling, I am entirely at your disposal. As I've said, I am the management liaison for the White Spring. I oversee the facility itself and its robotic staff. In addition, on behalf of the management, I arrange for the provision of certain material aid to the responders. They still have substantial resources and generously offer to share them to support their noble efforts. No, not by any prior arrangement. Perhaps you visited us before. I must apologize for the state you found it in, if so. Regular operation of the facilities had been stopped, of course, due to a lack of guests. Only the robotic staff remained. The responders, believing it abandoned, took up residence, a completely understandable occurrence, of course. With new and worthy occupants, the management felt it wholly appropriate that it find a new purpose, and sent me. Until such time as the world needs leisure resorts again, the White Spring is happy to support the refuge. Darling, you must understand. A place like the White Spring had, indeed still has, very wealthy people behind it. As was always the case, the truly wealthy had advantages the common people, such as you and I, lack. As for the White Spring itself, the staff of top-of-the-line robotic servants, security, and maintenance allowed it to weather the worst. Me? Have I beguiled you already, dear? I appreciate the flattery, of course. You must allow me to retain some mystery for now, though. I wouldn't want you to lose interest. Perhaps we can talk more some other time. We both have more important matters at the moment, I'm sure. Of course, dear. What can I do for you? What a wonderful thing for you to ask, darling. I knew there was something special about you from the moment I saw you. As it happens, the responders are looking for volunteers to assist them in a particular outreach effort. Those industrious wonders have repaired a vertibird to full working order and are using it to make contact with more distant settlements. They've made allies with people in Pittsburgh. The locals call it the Pit now, who seem to be in dire need of outside assistance. If you don't mind me saying so, you look like you can handle yourself. You might be just who they're looking for.
Am I going
Judging by what I've heard, it's an accurate one, sadly. Pittsburgh was bombed quite severely during the war. The poor individuals still living there have renamed it to better reflect its dreadful circumstances. They call themselves the Union. Something of a resistance movement, I understand, against more aggressive forces. One of their representatives is currently staying with us, a Mr. Skippy Rorich. Delightful man. Indeed, isn't that marvelous? They salvaged it and painstakingly repaired it. It's fully functional now. I was very pleased to be able to contribute to this effort in my own small way. If you wish to see it, it resides on the roof of the refuge between flights, along with its charming pilot, Ms. Lennox.
I love Esme's cooking. It's been so long since I've had food with actual flavor.
Well, they'll be better able to explain the details, but I believe they're looking for fighters, actually. Their contacts in the pit are in something of a desperate situation, it seems, against a dangerous enemy. I hate the thought of you putting yourself in such danger, but it does appear to be for a good cause.
Always make sure to boil your water before you drink. Thanks.
Maybe some kind of bomb-chucking gauntlet.
Hey, sport. You wouldn't happen to be handy with an electrocompression spanner, would you? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you aren't. I invented the thing. Sorry to put you on the spot, kid. I'm Skippy Rorich, but you can call me Skip, Ro, Skippo, or whatever else you fancy. I'm here on behalf of the Union. We're a band of loose-knit freedom fighters from the pit up north. We're looking to get our home back from a group of raiders called the Fanatics. Hoping Appalachia has some help to offer in that. The pit is, well, it used to be Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now it's something else entirely, overrun by all manner of nasty. But it's our home, and we want to win it back, clean it up, and make it livable again. Oh, don't worry about that thing. Barely works anyway. Silly to bring it up. Oh, we're past the electro spanner. Consign it to the dustbin of history. I'm moving on to the hydrolo spanner. Much higher ceiling on that one. Not at all. Ask away. Can I? Of course. Will I? Also, of course. It's hell. What else can I say? What the bombs didn't level, the Fanatics finished off. The air is choked with soot, the water is undrinkable, and the rads sear your skin like the sun of the Sahara. Then you'll be happy to join us on our frequent sojourns there, I take it. Before the war? Well, it wasn't a paradise, but still a sight to behold. The Steel City, we called it. A center of industry, making anything you can imagine. When the war rolled around, we built weapons, munitions, vertibirds, power armor, robots. I suppose that's what made us a target, and left us what we are now. The Fanatics are a bunch of sadists, is what they are. They bill themselves as a confederation and say they take all comers for who or what they are. That's nonsense, of course, just an empty slogan, used to sucker in more labor for the mills. All right, I'm game. Twist my arm, why don't you? Only been good at one thing in my life, and that's building things, so that's what I do. People call me a mad scientist. I built my fair share of oddities, but innovation takes risk. Parachutes sound crazy too, but they work. I'm lucky to have the time I have left after what I've been through. I'm not gonna waste it playing safe. Well, I'm a Pittsburgh man through and through. Daddy worked the steel mills hard, but I took a different route, tinkering for an armaments firm. This may surprise you, but I did everything by the book back then. Everything done to spec. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Life was stable, but boring as hell. I didn't really start living until after the bombs. They woke me up good. One good thing about making weapons of war for Uncle Sam is that they build those manufactories to last. The plant I worked in may as well have been a bunker, like one of those Vault-Tec vaults the Richies built themselves. When the bombs came down, enough stood standing to keep us lucky few alive. What came after? The Rads, the Ferals, the Fanatics. That was a real test. Well, now that you mention it, I made some fireworks for the kiddos yesterday. Big booming ones in the shape of animals. I expected the dragon to scare them, but the cave cricket shocked them much worse. Tired of hearing about me, eh? And I'll tell you everything you want to know. The Union is our grand experiment in human decency in the pit. All the people working together to rebuild a place that most say ain't worth rebuilding. We fight the Fanatics, the Ferals, and any other awful thing that stands to hold back progress in the Steel City. And there are a lot of those. Well, you know, we used to be a trade union before the war. A lot of us are holdovers from those days, old factory hands. Sticking together now like we did then. But we take all kinds, so long as they share the goal of winning back our foul city and making it fair again. That mix makes us a rowdy bunch, but it's also our secret sauce. Our eclectic minds think of things our enemies wouldn't imagine. So we stay one step ahead or even an inch ahead, but that's enough to keep us in the game. Quite frankly, because the odds are stacked against us. We represent civilization in the pit. Most folks up there have put that by the wayside, given in to their animal instincts. We want our home back, but we can't do it alone. That's all there is to it. If the Fanatics unite the pit, they'll start marching elsewhere. That's trouble for Appalachia. Trouble for you. If that ain't motivation enough, well, I'll make it worth your while, don't you worry. War breeds innovation. If there's one thing we have, it's that. We can build you all manner of fighting gear. Guns, grenades, armor, you name it. It'll be yours if you give us your aid. I'm the Union's inventor, quartermaster, and coordinator. I'm the brain guy. I use the know-how in this dome here of mine to help the kids in the field in any way I can. Sure thing. Oh, well, okay then. Why, naturally, I would be happy to share my wisdom with you. Oh, well, okay then. Anytime, my friend.
There's no problem too big to solve.
Change your mind, darling? Interested in helping the responders, after all? Oh, you're terribly brave, aren't you, dear? Imagine if we all had such courage. Now, darling, before anybody bundles you off, the first thing you should do is introduce yourself to some of the responders. I just so happen to know a few in need of more local assistance, and helping them will earn you the other thing you'll need. That other thing, of course, being the ultrasight battery cells, which fuel the vertibird. Ultracells, if you prefer. Why, from me, of course. Rather, from the management via me, that is. When management heard the responders were restoring the vertibird, they wished to help. They provided the ultracells, and I suggested them to the responders as an alternative means of fueling the vertibird. Per management instructions, I distribute a quantity to certain individuals regularly. Management feels this encourages collective decision-making rather than stockpiling. I'm sure they'd be willing to part with them in exchange for your aid. I could not possibly speak to your experience, dear. It sounds remarkable to make such discoveries. All I can tell you is that the management provides them for the refuge. Regrettably, that is as much as I know of the matter. I might wager that whomever was behind the ultracell you discovered likely shared similar contacts with management at some point, but who can say? My dear, you must understand, much as I would like to, my responsibilities do not permit me to do so. I am but a humble employee of the management, and I distribute their resources as instructed to the letter. I hope you will not begrudge me my loyalty. I find myself quite fond of you already. Our lovely Ms. Rucker is the closest thing to a leader the refuge has, though I believe she's less than comfortable with the title. You can find her in their headquarters, beyond the dining area. The darling chef, Miss Rousseau, needs some assistance in the kitchen, I hear. And Ms. Wagner, over in the common area, is looking for donations. I'm sure your generosity will be well rewarded. Wonderful, my dear. I'm certain you will be a tremendous help to them and the refuge. When you are finished with each of them, I recommend you speak with Mr. Skippy Rorich, the pit union representative. I imagine he'll want to discuss the situation in the pit with you before you embark. Do feel free to visit me at your leisure if you wish to chat. I have an office in the management wing. You can't miss it.
I heard a bunch of nerds
All
arguing
wines
over
and
comic
spirits,
books.
aged a minimum of 25 years.
A safe haven filled with... Or hell, if you look out the window.
Here on all of these diseases.
Help support the responders. Build up the refuge and give comfort to your fellow person. You might not need it, but I guarantee somebody else does. If you got some spare supplies burning a hole, help us help others. You're already here. You might as well invest in the future. Well, hello there, stranger. Pleased to meet you. I'm Sophie Wagner. Look around. The refuge. Quite a place, isn't it? I mean, sure, fancy pants golf club resort, that's nice, but I'm talking about the refuge. A haven for the lost, the dispossessed, the hungry, and unfortunate. A monument to our ability to have compassion for each other. Isn't it grand? Isn't it worth preserving, building, growing? Yes, exactly. You understand, I can tell. A future filled with people supporting each other, regardless of background or history. It's always good to meet someone who can see the big picture. Now, how'd you like to be a part of it?
But Rucker wants us sober on the job.
Sort of. Well, I haven't seen you around before, so, glad to have you. But I wasn't trying to recruit you anyway. I'm actually more in the material support end of things. Scouting for volunteers isn't really my department. Refugee camp? Is that all you think this is? Look closer. Sure, we're taking in refugees, but we're also making sure people get medicine, clothing, and food. This isn't just 3 hots and a cot. It's the first step to a world where everybody's got a chance. And you can help. Now that's what I'm talking about. People supporting each other. You got the right spirit. Rucker's put me in charge of running a bit of a donation drive. Have you met Rucker? She's amazing, you should. Anyway, it might surprise you to know an operation like this is always churning through supplies. We work hard to keep things in stock, and that funny Orlando character does their best to help out as well, but we still have shortfalls. So here I am, asking generous folks such as yourself to help us fill in those gaps and keep the refuge running.
One of the other initiates said I reek of desperation. I don't smell anything.
I prefer to think of it as mutual aid. We're a community, pulling our collective resources so that nobody has to go without. Charity's more like the well-to-do buying a clean conscience by giving away their table scraps. And it's not just hanging around. I need to get the donations packed, stored, logged, the whole 9 yards. Rucker's got a real quartermaster's mindset, so you better believe she wants it all squared away properly. Oh yeah, I guess I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Why shouldn't I be? We're living in the aftermath of the apocalypse. But here we all are in a place filled with people dedicated to helping each other. You ask me, that means we're pretty dang lucky, right? A lot to be excited about. Happy, even. Let me check my notes. We always need molded plastic. You can never have too much of it, and I gotta be honest, we don't have enough. I'd love it if you could help us with, 50 pieces? We could do a surprising amount of good for a surprising amount of people.
Try to remember that I managed to get here in the first place. There I go, reassuring myself again.
Lot of toys were plastic. They're always good. Some containers, like for cleaning supplies. Old food trays were often made from it too, if you find any. Yeah, the warm glow of providing aid to your fellow person. The joy of supporting a noble and worthwhile cause. Isn't that great? Okay, if that's not enough for you, Rucker's given the okay to dole out some of the ultrasight battery cells we've got to spare. We use them to power the vertibird on the roof. They use it to fly aid missions to places outside Appalachia. I got a feeling you might be helping out there, so I bet you'll find a use for these. Come back and donate. Glad to see you've returned. Are you ready to donate? You do? Amazing. Thank you so much. This is going to be a big help. It just so happens I got a little something for you as a reward for your generosity. Rucker set aside some ultrasight battery cells I can spare you from the ones the White Spring management doles out. Fancy a vertibird trip? They're not much use for anything else, but I got a feeling you're gonna need them. See? Mutual aid. Everybody wins. Thanks so much for the help. Drop by again. If I know Rucker, I'll be looking for something new every day. Take care of yourself.
Bonjour! My name is Esme Rousseau, but most people around here know me as Chef Esme. We've had some representatives from Foundation and Crater come here seeking assistance with the recent influx of refugees. I thought that we could help them out by providing some food for their people. I've started a pot of venison and potato stew, one of my newest creations. Would you be able to help me finish it? How wonderful! I can't wait to whip up something delicious for everyone! The stew requires potatoes, venison, salt, black pepper, and carrots. The ingredients can be found in our storage area. Your job is to grab the ingredients and put them in before the stew burns.
The potatoes here taste so fresh and only a few
Fast.
rats.
Let's have you start by stirring the stew, which will help keep it from burning. Remember to continuously stir during the cooking process. Fantastique! Let's get the first of the ingredients and prepare them. You're looking for carrots, potatoes, and the pièce de résistance, the venison.
Much work. Wonder what they're doing now.
We could always use an extra hand around here.
If you ever find yourself in a please call on us. The work is
dash of this.
No.
Perfection.
I love business cooking. It's been so long since I've had food with actual flavor. Considering all of the places I could have ended up, I'm extremely lucky I'm here. Could really use her wants us sober on the job.
There's no problem. This is smelling delicious. Let's add more flavor with some salt and pepper now.
Good evening. Here for dinner. Please feel free to seat yourself.
Died and gone to heaven.
Oh no, the stew has burned. Do not be discouraged though. Without failure, there is no improvement. Here is your stew. Something is better than nothing, yes? Hopefully, either the settler or raider representative will find some use for this. I last saw them in the bar area.
Are you at the refuge? We've got people going hungry, and too many mouths to feed at Foundation. I suppose this could help feed our dogs. Maybe next time you can give us something that people can actually eat?
What? Who I am doesn't matter. I'm just here to keep an eye on things for Meg. Nothing but a problem. All it's doing is encouraging new people to come to Appalachia. Sickly people. If they're too weak to make it on their own, then maybe they shouldn't be the ones to survive. Sure, whatever.
I think
Well, seems like timing is one of your strong suits. Look, I can stitch up a gash with the best of them. But Appalachia, well, she can do a lot worse than cut us open. Got a lot of folks here with sickness we don't understand, and injuries we don't know how to treat. What we need more than anything is know-how. So I propose we trade. What I got that I don't need, for what you need that you don't got. I've heard you're looking ahead into the pit, and the only safe way out of Appalachia is that metal bird Lennox has perched up on the roof. And what keeps her in the air are those ultrasight cells Orlando keeps locked up. So, that's the deal. You bring back medical information that'll help me figure out how to help these folks, and I'll get you all the juice you need. Hope you don't mind a trip over to Cranberry Bog. So, what do you say? Want to help the responders make a difference? Now this one might be tricky. Watoga Emergency was almost entirely run by robots, but even robots had to tell their patients how to take care of themselves once they left the hospital. What we're looking for there is any record of that information so we can do the same for our patients here in the refuge. So talk to me. You in? Nice. Well, let's get to it then. Anything you're able to find, go ahead and bring it back to our lead medic. I'll let her know to look for you. Good luck out there.
Helping people is our chief mission. The cool uniforms are just
Considering all of the places I could have ended up, I'm extremely... Folks don't join the responders for cabs.
I wish they'd tell us what all of those construction workers are up to.
Spring remains secure.
A safe haven filled with people trying to help others? It feels like I've died and gone down. Or hell,